In this video, I'm going to show you how to change the rack and pinion bellow boot on your Toyota Highlander. Remove your 5 21mm lug nuts. Remove the front wheel. A 22mm wrench. Using a 15mm wrench, hold the inner tie rod while you back this nut off just a little bit. Remove the cotter pin out of the outer tie rod ball joint. A 17mm socket, remove the nut on the end of the ball joint. Using a large hammer, you can hit on the side of the knuckle where the ball joint sits to release it, or you can use a ball joint puller. Once it's released, you can remove the ball joint from the knuckle, remove the outer tie rod, count the threads, remove the jam nut, remove the inner clamp on the bellow boot, and then we'll have to cut off the one on the inside. The clamp we're going to be removing is over this sway bar. I'm going to be using a pair of wire cutters to cut it open. With our pair of wire cutters, I'm going to cut the top and kind of bend it around and try and cut it in half. Or bend it off like that. Grab the boot and pull it off. Install the bellow onto the inner tie rod. Oh. Make sure it seats on the proper spot. You'll feel it click over. And then install it onto the rack. Install your cable ties. The big one goes around the rack. You want to make this as tight as you can. Then we'll cut off the end. Do the same on the outer. Clip the ends off. You can use scissors, pair of flush cuts. I like to put a little bit of copper anti-seize on here. When you live in the Rust Belt, these can get pretty stuck. Install the jam nut onto the inner tie rod, trying to get it to the position where it came off of. This will put your alignment close to where it was. I like to put copper never-seize inside of the outer tie rod before threading it onto the inner tie rod. The guy who does your alignment will thank you. Put the ball joint stud back into the knuckle. And put your castle nut on. Torque your castle nut to 36 foot-pounds. And then up to an additional 60 degrees, or until a slot in the nut lines up with the hole to be able to put a new cotter pin through. Put in your new cotter pin and bend a tab down. Tighten the jam nut down. Hold the inner tie rod as you do this. Torque this down to 36 foot-pounds. If you can't get a torque wrench or something to measure that, do the best you can. Install the front wheel. Put in your 5 lug nuts. You will need an alignment after this job is completed. Tighten the lug nuts down in a star pattern to make sure the wheel seat's square. And then with the car on the ground, we'll torque the wheels. Torque your lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds in a star pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.